Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others, or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.
All right, in this video, I'm going to share with you my thoughts about the Indian system of education in 2024. Okay. And the reason why I want to share my thoughts with you is because, from time to time, I get youngsters who want my advice on what to study, what career path to take. I know some of you, especially who are new to my channel or who are not big fans of mine, will be like, who the hell would ask a moron like you, a tattooed freak or a college dropout? Fine, keeping all those personal criticisms aside, what you need to understand or fail to understand is I'm one of those people who was part of the Indian system of education and who dropped out. And despite dropping out, today I'm able to have a career. I'm able to earn more money. Okay, and I'm not saying this just to show off or to beat my chest. I actually earn more money than people who have even a master's degree. And I'm not saying this um, to show off or to brag. It is just a fact. Okay, it is just a fact. I'm not saying that I earn more than every individual on the planet. I'm not saying that I'm a multimillionaire. I'm not saying that I am absolutely successful. And the most important thing, what I'm not trying to imply, is it is better not to have an education. So please don't get any assumptions or form any assumptions without knowing the whole context. Okay, but it is a fact that I do earn more than most people who have degrees, master degrees, even some people who have their PhDs. I earn more than them. And it's not just me. There are many people who are school or college dropouts who are extremely successful. But having said that, on the other side, there are people uh, who definitely, because of their education, because of their qualifications, are earning 10 times, 100 times, or whatever, million times more than people like me. Now, right off the bat, just before you make false assumptions, I want you to know that though I'm a college dropout, I highly endorse, I highly support, and I highly encourage people to complete their education. However, you must do your degree. You must, if you can, do your master's, please, by all means. And if you can even do your PhD or get more certifications, absolutely. Anybody who comes to me and says that, should I do my degree or master's or PhD, I evaluate them individually based on their financial capacity, their parents, obviously, based on their goals, based on their skills, and me evaluating their strengths and weaknesses. I don't give a one size fits all advice to everyone, but in most cases I encourage people to complete their education, because what happens is, once after that age is over, the age to study, and you start making money, then going back becomes extremely hard, very, very hard, because you will have so many priorities, you'll have so many responsibilities. And obviously, because you don't exercise your the neurons related to memory. Okay, I don't want to get too scientific because I'm not, but it's like a muscle. If you don't exercise it, you lose its strength. Okay, so now, having said that, now let's move on to what is the core issue or the problems of Indian system of education in 2024. And please feel free to chime in your bits and pieces or your opinions, because it does matter. Okay, and people like to read and interact with you, whether you agree or disagree. Okay, so I'll tell you, even though I'm a proponent of getting educated, studying, the biggest problem with academic education is that it offers no guarantees. It offers no assurances. It is more like a. It is actually like having a hall ticket or a ticket to enter or to apply or to just to prove your credentials. Okay, let's say, for example, you want to migrate to Canada or Australia. Legally, they will ask you the more education you have. Like if you have a degree, you get maybe 2 points. Example I'm giving. If you have a master's, you get 3 points. If you have a PhD, 4 points. So the more in terms of education you have, the more your value increases, and society kind of values education. That is why if there are two guys, one guy is say a master's degree holder, another guy is just schooling. The guy with the master's degree by default will be judged as more intelligent, more smart, more stable, more secure. Because remember this, even to study, you need to be a very stable, disciplined individual. Others, you cannot study and you cannot excel in education, you cannot get a degree. So there are certain virtues related to education. And if you apply in the corporate world, you must have a degree or you must have a master's. Otherwise, they don't even entertain your profile. They don't care whatever experience you have. The qualifying round itself is we need a master's degree. We need a whatever. We need a degree holder. So by that qualification itself, your resume might get rejected. Okay, so keep that in mind. Uh, but like I told you, the first biggest problem is it doesn't offer you any guarantees in life. So the question is, then why do I have to study, man? The second problem, which I see with education, is most of the stuff that they teach you in school, you cannot apply into the real world. For example, how many of us, I'm putting me in the equation, how many of us use trigonometry? If you ask me, what did I study in trigonometry or algebra? I absolutely have no clue. I'm telling you today, I have no clue at all. Maths, literally maths, I use a calculator. Even like simple calculations, I go to Google, type it out. Okay. I don't remember what I studied in history. I scarcely remember a few things of geography. Um Chemistry, don't ask me. I just know H2O is water. Um, some few gimmicks here and there as to practice in the lab. Uh, Potassium permanganate, if I remember, it was purple. You put it in a glass, and, just that. Biology, I just remember the frog. You dissect a frog and you see all that. I don't remember anything else. My favorite subject was English, which I love stories. I'm bad at grammar. I use Grammarly as an app. The only even today, there are so many people who criticize and make fun of my pronunciation, who make fun of my grammar, and they are absolutely right. I suck at perfect English. My English is very Indian English. I have the accent, Indian accent, because I was born and raised as an Indian. So if you're a Chinese who speaks English, you'll sound like Chinese. If you're African who speaks English, you'll have an African accent. If you're an Indian who speaks English, you'll have an Indian accent. So that's nothing to be ashamed of. That's a fact. But my grammar is not perfect. Yes, I'm good at blogging. Yes, I'm good at making videos like this. But absolutely, I totally am aware of the fact, and I agree with you that I make a lot of grammar mistakes. I make a lot of pronunciation mistakes. So it's not perfect. So English is my favorite subject, or was in the school days. But if you ask me grammar, just verb, adjective. Hindi, oh my goodness. Hindi was like, I know this sounds silly if I say, but the only Hindi that I do remember is the movies I used to watch, but I don't remember anything of what they teach in school. I do remember some of the alphabets, and I know how to write a little bit of Hindi if I were to see it, but apart from that, nothing. Arabic as a language, I wish I had studied that. Maybe I would earn much more income with the Arabic audience, but I hardly know anything. Nothing. I know only the alphabets of Arabic. Hindi, if I speak to you in Hindi right now, oh my goodness, you guys are going to laugh your heads out. Like, just imagine I'm a South Indian, and if I speak in Hindi, you will mock me for the rest of my life. My only Hindi is Tereku Mereku. आप आप क्या करते हैं? आपने खाना खाया? Then one female is to tell me your Hindi is very pyari Hindi. It's very cute Hindi. So if I, it's so comedic. If I were to say something in Hindi, like if I were to threaten someone, people might burst out laughing because they'll feel it funny. मैं तुझे मार डालूंगा. I'm going to kill you. The only other Hindi that I do know is bad words. Okay, तेरी माँ की, तेरे माँ की means your mother's something. Then तेरे भाई की or तेरा बाप के, whatever. Okay, and the typical bad words which I don't want to say now simply for no reason. Okay, and yes, if you the Mumbai kind of bad word, hey, chutiye, what, and some other terms like lauda lasundu. So what I'm telling you is, most of the subjects I hardly remember anything. I I would say I know I shouldn't be encouraging youngsters with this, but I was a student who would get, out of 100 marks in my subjects, I used to get out of 100, 33% is pass mark. 33, not even 35 was, but out of like grace, 33. And my parents, my stepfather and my mother, they would actually look forward to me getting 33, hoping I would get 33. Anything above 33 is like, wow, oh, wow, he's achieved something. It was not that I was dumb. It was not that I had difficulties studying. I was not dyslexic or I didn't have any of these problems. I just didn't have any interest, absolutely zero interest. And because of the environment, because of my upbringing, my stepfather was never there, my mother was never there, and I had ADHD, that is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. I I was very restless, and that time maybe ADHD or ADD was not, the term was not invented, but I was very restless. I found studies very boring, and they were boring. The teachers were boring. The bloody subject was boring. The whole thing was boring. So you give me a Marvel or DC comic book. Oh, I would love to read that. You show me cartoons. I would love to see that. You involve me in something that has my hands and, or exercise or something. I would love to do that. But you ask me to sit and memorize a book, that also with information that is so bloody boring. I could never do that, man. And to tell you honestly, our system of education is what? It is all but a memorization competition. A competition where who can you memorize this book? This book that I give you, can you memorize it word for word and regurgitate? I hope I got that right. Regurgitate or puke it out during the exam. I'll ask you page number 24 or 48, whatever, one question. Like, for example, what was I don't know, what was the Third World War? What was it all about? And if I can repeat the same bloody information that is there in the text and put it in a very understandable way, finish, I get more marks. And the students in my class those days, the one who could actually say it word for word, exactly the same way, with very neat handwriting and in detail, would get the highest marks. So the person who would get the highest marks, who was supposed to be the smartest among all of us, the person with the highest score, was the person who had the best memory, who had the best discipline to memorize, and had the best ability to write down very neatly, word for word, what he read. And that made him number one. That is why whenever in CBSE or any other Indian education, when they have the rank holder, the first rank, the person who got 99 out of 100 or 100 out of 100, society looks at that boy or that girl as, wow, you are so amazing. Wow, I'm so proud of you. The parents sit with the child. And if you see that child's face, do me a favor, look at that child's face. You'll always see them have glasses, dark eyes. They will look like this. Like, okay, I know you look at my face and say, look at your face first. Fine. I look like a Star Wars character, Spider-Man, freak, whatever. But look at their face. They look like one of those accountants who has been put in jail, who has a terrible, miserable, boring life. They will look like this. They just look like this. Like the poor girls, if you look at them, they look like this, just with glasses. Or the boys look like. Or nowadays, we have this new breed of guys who smile and they look happy and attractive, but they are bloody nerds, man. That is why this term nerds. Nerds, in the sense, what do I mean by that is they just, you give them this book, they memorize the book, great memory, and they puke it all out. And that is as far as their smartness or their intelligence goes. But if you ask them to run a business, that is a different kind of intelligence. They don't have that. If you ask them to do any other tasks, they might find that very, very difficult. So there are different kinds of intelligences. The problem with our educational system, our academic Indian, is it rewards and awards recognition, respect to only people who have very good memory power. The better your memory, the better your ability to write from memory on that sheet of paper makes you superior, makes you better, makes you more intelligent. Now, the only area where I will give them credit for is discipline. Yes, it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of, there's so much of yourself that you give to attain these marks. But sadly, after all that money, time, effort, memorization, everything else, it amounts to nothing in the real world other than being able to apply for a job. Apply for it. It's like a ticket. But then, whether you get the job or don't get the job, all depends on other skills which are not taught in education. In our current system of education, the current system of education that we have in 2024, does our academic education teach you and train you how to communicate, the art of communication? Do they teach you how to write? Unless you have taken arts. If you have taken science or commerce, no. Do they teach you the art of writing? Do they teach you the art of selling yourself? Because in today's day and age, if you cannot sell yourself, you can't survive. Do they teach you the art of selling yourself? No. Do they teach you the art of how to manage money, generate money? That is the most important skill in the world. How to generate money, how to save money, how to use money. Do they teach you real life survival skills? They say, in India, the streets of Mumbai, it's like you either have to be street smart or you can't survive. Do they teach you any skill to survive in the streets of life? Do they teach you how to handle your emotions and feelings? Do they teach you how to negotiate with people? Like, you'll go through breakups, you'll go through ups and downs with your feelings, you'll go through peer pressure. Do they teach you all these skills? Now, you'll say, no, they can't encompass all this. But hear me out. The skills which I just mentioned, survival skills in the real world, running a business, managing the money, selling yourself, versus the academic education, This is far more superior than this. This area, money management, managing emotions, managing people, communication skills, selling yourself, is far more superior than memorizing and spitting it out. In fact, today, any question I ask you, you will go to google.com. Seriously, you'll just go through a web browser, or now you have OpenAI, you have ChatGPT, you have all these softwares. Any question that is asked, you will check it out. So then, what is the point and purpose of memorizing? See, the industrial complex, those days, they used to make you learn and memorize because there was no Google, there was no reference, and maybe you didn't have access to books. So if you had this knowledge up in your head, that would help you. And because during the war, World War, they wanted more and more people to gain skills. So that is where the classroom style of setup came. Let's cram this room with 30, 60, how many, 100 people. One person will be there. He will train all of you with A, B, C, D, all these skills. And all you got to do is memorize so that you can survive. And they would teach you, okay, this batch, you'll do this task. This batch, you'll do that task. This task, you'll do this task. So they had specific skills. And then they needed accountants. They needed people to analyze information. They needed people to maybe print and write. So those were general tasks for each one to do. But today, you don't need this. We are not at war. We are not deprived of not having access to information. We have access. It's in our pockets. It's in our smart devices. So what do you do? And on top of that, this is the most important one. The teachers who are teaching you, they are underpaid. They are not good enough. They hardly know how to run a business. They hardly have skills to survive. They are only good at repeating like a parrot, and some of them make it so bloody boring. They don't have a personality. They don't have, not all, but most of them don't have a personality. I can assure you this much, it's very rare if they'll ever have charisma. They have good intentions, they have a good heart. But does that help you survive? They'll just repeat what they read from a book and they'll blabber it out to you. Now, please don't start disrespecting teachers. They are human beings. They are doing their job. It's unfortunate that the educational system does not pay them money. And the reason why you don't have good quality teachers is because the teaching industry pays absolutely pathetic salary. You know, the money that most of us make is maybe just the starting salary is more than most of the teachers. So when you have an educational system or content that is outdated, you have a teacher that is not being paid well, who is substandard, and you have a system that is cannot change, cannot evolve. When you have all this and you are just drilling it into the head of a very rebellious young man or woman who's exposed to the internet, who's confused about life, whom people will say, oh, I'm a college dropout, I'm a school dropout, but today yet I'm successful. When you have all such challenges, do you seriously think anybody wants to study? In fact, it is becoming so hard to recommend a young man or young woman to study in a school or college, that too, which is, just average. If you're studying in a creme de la creme, the upper echelons of education, or you're moving towards Harvard or Ivy League, fine, that is worth it. At least there you'll be exposed to a lot more quality education, better education, and there'll be doors of opportunities. If someone says, I've graduated from Harvard Business School, not the fake one that is on LinkedIn, do for 2 weeks and you become a Harvard. No, not that bullshit. Actually go to Harvard, study there, stay in the campus for 2-3 years, or study in an Ivy League, being on location, fine. You'll be headhunted by global organizations and they'll pay you, like IIT, IIMs. Even there, you get multinational companies that headhunt such students. But for the majority, you're talking, this is just 1%. The majority, 99.99%, are like you and me. And then out of that, if you just take the 80%, which is the crow, they're just average people, man. So, what is the use of this education? What is the use of such an education that does not guarantee you a job, does not guarantee you a future, does not guarantee you like relevance after a few years? Like, just imagine someone tells you, I did a master's degree 20 years ago. You laugh at him. Man, software changes every few months, hardware changes every year. Technology, with just one improvement, makes everything, you know, just redundant and outdated. How do you convince someone to study, man? How do you convince someone to go to school? How do you convince them to learn? In fact, today, so many youngsters, like I have in my WhatsApp group, so many youngsters, they are far more sharp, so sharp. Sometimes when I'm talking to them, I'm like, is he bloody using a open AI or chat GPT to get all these answers and information? They are exposed to so much. In fact, today a child who's 3 or 4 years old knows how to operate a smart device much better than someone who's 50 or 60 years old. So now, what is the conclusion of all this? Should you study? Should you not study? Should you plan out a journey whereby you aim for masters or PhD? What is the solution? And in fact, if you don't have the kind of money to take you to the Ivy Leagues, you're just your family is very average. They earn an average income. Should you even contemplate of getting into the system of education? See, this is my opinion. Okay, this is my opinion. I would like to know yours. It's very easy to criticize what we currently have and just totally disregard it. Very easy. But then the question becomes, fine, if you disregard it, what do you do? I get so many youngsters who tell me, Loy, I don't feel like studying. Okay, sir, I don't feel like studying. Oh, bro, I don't feel like studying. I'm not going to study. Then I ask them, what will you do? They say, I'm going to start a business. What business? Now I'll do this. See, business is not going to guarantee you success. In fact, business is more dangerous because you'll end up losing money and then you'll come not only back to square one, you'll go minus many times over. Nobody's going to entertain you. Nobody's going to look at your face. Nobody is going to even give you an opportunity to present yourself if you don't have educational qualifications. We still live in a day and age, in a society that values a degree, a master's. The higher, the more the respect. So the first thing which I want to tell you is, do not disregard education. And yes, the academic education is outdated. Chemistry, history, geography, civics, whatever. My daughter, I would always encourage her to complete her education. But the only difference is, I'm not going to pressurize her to get 100 out of 100 or 90 out of 100. Even if she gets just pass marks, even that I wouldn't encourage. I would say get more than that. The reason being is the discipline and dedication that is required to show concentration when you're in a classroom will help you inculcate that discipline, dedication in other areas of your life. Remember, the solution to education is not taking your smartphone, watching YouTube videos, chatting on Facebook, being on TikTok. No. Don't give bullshit yourself with an excuse like that. Discipline has its place. Even today, you see the books at the back. Many people think this is either graphics or it's kept as a showpiece. No. I still educate myself. I still sit down with a book. I still read. I still take down notes. Remember this much. I'm ADHD, but I still make it a point to write and learn. That's the only way to succeed. So first one is, you must, if you don't have an option, go through that grind, complete your education. And if you're financially not well off, please, if you're financially not well off and your parents, you must study. If you have enough and more money, then that's a different question altogether. So first one is, please do complete the system of education. If not get 100 out of 100, at least focus on above passing marks. That would help. Number three is, as you're studying, work. Do some form of work. And I'm not talking of e-commerce. That is an easy way out. You're just escaping the realities. Online business, online experience counts for nothing, because it's very easy to sit behind a screen and just type. And physical work, physical. When you physically do, like a chef physically does work. When you sell, you go out there and present yourself. When you talk and interact with people, even when you shovel or garden or paint, when you're physically involved, you learn 10 times more. And there's more value to physical experience than online experience. Okay. And last, if not the least, the one thing which I'll leave you with is, yes, the system is not perfect. Yes, the system is outdated. But you are not smarter than the system. You are not better than the system. You are not greater than the system. You're part of it. So don't think that, oh, I'm superior. No, nobody will give you a damn. And for those of you who are tempted to drop out of college or drop out of school or whatever, let me warn you and caution you that you will suffer very badly for at least 10 years to 20 years of your life until you gain mastery, absolute mastery and excellence in your chosen line of work. If you do drop out of college and do drop out of school, expect to only be offered jobs like security, cleaner, dishwasher, McDonald's, flipping burgers, or very, very odd jobs with no respect. Because without a degree, without a paper, you cannot see, because you don't have any experience, you don't have any expertise, you're a nothing and nobody. That paper will save your ass. And also keep in mind, one of the greatest and biggest benefits is you'll be able to migrate to another country if you have a degree. And um, even for Indian people, arranged marriage, they'll definitely ask you, either do you have a very big bank balance, property, and if you don't have that, education should be super high, and you should have a stable job. So either or. If you're not a very rich person, multimillionaire, lots of money, then this will save you education and a job. So please, yes, this video was about why our Indian system of education is outdated in 2024. What is the solution? The solution is, you can't change the system. You can only change yourself. So focus on studying. At the same time, work other jobs, physical, and gain experience. Get yourself a mentor or a guide or a coach who has real world experience, who can guide you through this process. It'll shorten your learning curve by save you 10 years, 15 years of your life of making mistakes, and help you become something. And in the end, I think we all are looking for, one is to make money, which we all want, have a better quality life, and yes, eventually earn the freedom, because freedom is priceless. Freedom to do what we like and to earn money doing what we love. So this is what I wanted to share with you. Let me know what are your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you agree, disagree with what I have to say? And yes, remember this much. It's sad that we live in a society where the parents, the teachers, friends, everyone else, they will praise only someone who gets a very big, high marks or big rank or number one in memorization, but they look down on others who have poor marks, but who maybe have so many other forms of intelligence, skills that can actually help them achieve success. I'll just conclude by giving you, I don't know if you have ever seen this cartoon. There is a monkey is sitting below a tree. He's writing down, and there is a fish, an elephant, a tiger, and a monkey. Okay. So he tells the monkey that, very good, you have got excellent marks in climbing up the tree. But he tells the fish, you're one of the worst, no skill in climbing the tree. The tiger or cheetah, you're also very bad at climbing the tree as fast as a monkey. An elephant, though, you're useless. But if you actually look, each animal has its own uniqueness. If the monkey were to fall in the water, can't survive. If the monkey were, let's say, in a savanna, like the tiger, you have to chase to win. And the lion is, like, they say, lion is the king of the jungle because it can kill. The elephant is super strong. It doesn't take into account all the other strengths. It only focuses on one test. And if you can't succeed in the one test, they just disregard all other forms of education, talent, skill. Remember, there are many other things. I'm not trying to tell you that singing, you can become a world famous singer or cricketer and all, but there are other avenues and options where you can excel. Okay? Whether it's exercising, whether it's sports, whether it is artistic talent, you may not become a millionaire, but at least you can make a living out of all this. Okay? But it'll be challenging. That's all I'll tell you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, good, bad, ugly. I'd love to hear your point of view. Having said that, this is me signing off. And yes, if you have any questions, put them down below. I'd love to answer them. You guys take care.